Alright, welcome back to part 2 of how to set up an Ableton template for recording hip-hop. It's your man Jay Lackovic, aka The Architect. So on the last video, basically without all of this information in here, we had you all set up with your recording tracks. Of course, on top you had your instrumental track, and then you had a group track for all your vocals. This may look a little bit different to you. I think you have 3 on this particular one. I have 4. You then have an effects track. We named it for you. It says accents here. And then we had a second group track for your overlays. You had an overlay left, overlay right, and a centered overlay. Pretty much same thing here. I just named them differently. You'll see one's full right, one's full left, and one's centered. And lastly, you had a mixed down track. We also got you set up with your returns. And these read a little bit differently, but you should have 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 16 with the reverb on the front. So what we did was get you set up with everything that you need for the effects on the individual tracks or the group tracks, but we didn't explain why they're in the order that they are, what they do, when to use them, that kind of thing. So we're going to really get heavily into that. I'll try to keep the video within an hour's time frame, but there is kind of a bit to go over. So this real quick, quickly, is a soon-to-be released cut off of our demo. It doesn't really have a name yet. This track is named Job Application. And it has on, for the first MC, gentleman goes by the name Da Hunch. So I'll have you listen through and, just take a listen to the vocals, the overlays, pay attention to that. But this is basically using these parameters that we got you set up with. Take a listen.
This is my first day.
Feels like my first day.
I'm that ginger. Ninja. Hunch goes my phone. Just dropped it in the fucking toilet.
Please do it justice.
No faggot.
That I've recently reached, at least in my case, life can't be easily breached. Increase migraines, be hydroplaning, Daytona Beach. You can't buy game, become droned out, spy plane in my way. Mofos be sitting sideways, run over these stunt doubles, demolition zombies, but But this job application requires lawless solicitation, regardless of information, in charge of the situation. Your bargaining chips could not starve a hippie Haitian or disarm a guy with no arms already amputated. You granny hating cause I hit up her medicine cabinet right before I started panty raiding. She wished that it happened backwards, instead we got a complicated relationship. Needed Ouija board and Alice in a state of commitment.
State of commitment. Did you get that? I don't think you did. I think you did, really.
Let's go.
Try it.
Who's next?
Alright, so I guess the first thing that I'm wanting to go over here is you'll notice on, if we were to solo the vocals group and give it a listen from here, I want you to pay attention to, actually, we'll go to this view, it's a little bit easier I guess, but within this main group on the vocals track, you have your individual recording tracks, and I want you to pay attention to their levels on their gain. Take a listen, soloed.
Yeah.
The realization that I've recently reached, at least in my case, life can't be easily breached. Increase migraines, be hydroplaning.
See how it's clipping out over here? It's, you know, pinging the red going past that line. So these tracks are clipping, but what ends up happening is the vocals track, everything has to bus into this vocals track, where you now have two compressors taking care of a lot of your work. So they're looking at these bigger transients, you know, regarding lows and highs, the dynamics, we'll say, of the vocals, and basically leveling them out. So words that are kind of tucked in the background here will come a little bit more forward, and the words that are kind of real bright will be squashed down. So it tends to equalize everything and normalize, we'll say. But and also, if you listen down here, if we were to solo the overlay track, you can hear the same thing happening, or see the same thing happening with it clipping here, but then when it busts through the overlay, it squashes everything and then makes it nice coming out. Take a listen.
At least in my life can't be easily breached.
So you'll see it, you know, pings here, but everything coming out of the overlay track probably is like -3 or 4, you know, maybe even 6 dB, but it's sitting below that line, so you have enough ceiling room to really do shit with it. Now, some people will tell you just turn these main volumes down, which is fine too, but I keep these up for recording purposes so you can hear yourself nice and loud in the headphones when you're recording. And then I guess I just don't concern myself with turning them down, because everything's grouped to the main vocals track, which I can turn down manually with its master volume off that. And then plus I have the compressors kind of help me out to keep me regimented, and that and the limiter. So let's go over this real quick. So the EQ8, nothing, you know, right now, forget about this stuff here. But for right now, the way that you have everything set up on your template session from the last video may look a little different than what you're seeing here. So if it is different, you of course can pause the video and get everything moved to where it needs to be. But this is how I have my setup anyways, and I believe you should have everything in there, just maybe, you know, not sitting in the correct spot, and that's easy enough by left click hold and then just drag it to where you want it to be and then let go. But anyway, yeah, take some time to get these parameters down. I know, you know, we really didn't have you set up with a good compressor parameters, but this is kind of what I tend to use. A simple delay, I believe we had it set to something like this, limiter, chorus, you can get those values. These red dots indicate automation. I'll get into that a little bit later, but yeah, take time to get all these settings, because that will definitely help you out. And you'll notice when I play back my main vocals that the gate is off, and I know I talked to you about sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't, and in this case I don't. So, and then on the overlay, kind of the same thing going on. You'll notice I really have my EQ on the wrong side of this. It should be first, but I guess in this particular instance it kind of didn't really matter. The overlays tend to sit in the background, so they kind of, you know, they're working with the vocals, but they're not super up front to where they're as noticeable as the main vocals. So I don't worry so much about you know, the EQing or really getting in depth with it unless I need to or the beat calls for it. But on this particular track, or grouping, you notice we have a compressor. Always compress your vocals, I gotta tell you. This is one of the features of Ableton. most times I don't use it. I guess in this case I did. If we look at these individual tracks, we don't have any individual effects on it. I try not to put individual effects on the individual tracks because it takes more for the program to concentrate on multiples of things, and it really will tax out your CPU. So I put all the effects on the main overlay channel and then have everything grouped towards that. And then the mix down is just this track, paying attention to master, and recording everything that the master hears. So let's take a minute to explain why things are and what they do. So real simply, first on the EQ, nothing too grand or special about that. Don't worry about this guy. Cutting out a lot of the lows on the vocal, dropping some of the mids, and keeping some of the highs, just kind of roll off the top of the highs. But if we were to, no, we don't, well, actually, we'll go ahead and listen to the vocals, to the vocal chain, with the effects off. You know what, I'm going to manually turn them off. That's what we'll do. And then, what if I were to go like this? Okay. Yeah, because I don't want to. Yeah, I'm worried that's going to mess everything up, but we'll listen anyways. I'm not really quick with the mouse. Plus, I just woke up, so give me a break. All right, so here's the vocal channel soloed without anything. So straight up raw off the mic.
Yeah. The realization that I've recently reached, at least in my case, life can't be easily breached. Increase migraines, be hydroplaning, Daytona Beach. You can't buy game, become droned out. A spy plane in my way, mofos be sitting sideways. Run over these stunt doubles, demolition zombie.
Okay, so we'll stick this on loop for a second. Control L. Now, if we get this looping and then I start turning effects on, pay attention.
That I've recently reached, at least in my case, life can't be easily breached. Increase migraines, be hydroplaning, Daytona Beach. You can't buy game, become droned out. A spy plane in my way, motivation that I've recently reached.
So you can automatically hear, or straight off the bat hear when I on the EQ that a lot of the lows are coming out of his voice, and you really kind of want to do that, or else it kind of muddles in with the beat, and you're not getting real clarity of word. So yeah, that's the first thing here.
Life can't be easily breached. Increase migraines, be hydroplaning, Daytona Beach. You can't buy game, become droned out. A spy plane in my way, motivation that I've recently reached, at least in my case, life can't be easily breached. Increase migraines, be hydroplaning.
Now you'll notice also when I toggle this compressor A/B on off, whatever, that you can hear that the really sharp, bright parts of him when the compressor is on, it gets squashed down and more normalized.
Life can't be easily breached. Increase migraines, be hydroplaning, Daytona Beach. You can't buy game, become droned out. A spy plane in my way, motivation that I've recently reached, at least in my case, life can't be easily breached. Increase migraines, be hydroplaning, Daytona Beach. You can't buy game, become droned out. A spy plane in.
So you see on the simple delay, of course, the beat is echoing out, or the vocals are echoing out, and that of course is up to you and how you feel that the vocals should go on the beat. You'll notice it is automated, so apparently I'm using it sometimes and not others. But just going through and trying to toggle these on and off to show you what's going on here. Limiter, you're not really going to hear much difference, so I won't bother putting that up. But here we go with the chorus.
Life can't be easily breached. Increase migraines. Be hydroplaning. Daytona Beach. You can't buy game. Become droned out. A spy plane in my way. Motivation that I've recently reached. At least in my case. Life can't be easily breached. Increase migraines.
So you hear on the chorus, you get that kind of detuned or repitched voice kind of playing, as a chorus, almost like you have another one of you saying something. It just adds for more width, I think, or that's the way I feel it to be. And sometimes you can get a little too aggressive. I try to keep that at 36%. I find that's kind of nice. This slider up and down, like if you were to drag this up, you'll get more of a lower pitched voice. And the closer you are to center is basically your natural voice or the normal voice. So you don't have to go far off on the chorus to give it more width, but definitely does create more width. So hear that again.
Life can't be easily breached. Increase migraines. Be hydroplaning. Daytona Beach. You can't buy game. Become droned out. A spy.
And again, these are just, my settings. Of course, everything's a knob, and you got a save up here. So, experiment with different things. But let's go ahead, keep going with the reverb here.
Life can't be easily breached. Increase migraines. Be hydroplaning. Daytona Beach. You can't buy game. Become droned out. A spy plane.
So the reverb is very slight in the background. But listen again and then pay attention to when I stop the track, or when I stop the track, listen to the back side of it.
Life can't be easily breached. Increase migraine.
I'm not sure if you can hear that. If you have good speakers or headphones, you'll probably hear the air behind it, and that's kind of why I use reverb, is more for that wispiness, the airiness behind the vocals, so it's not so sharp and up front. Some people like it, some people don't. Again, that's something that you'd have to decide whether or not you wanted on your track. And then lastly, we throw up another compressor because we've done a bunch of work over here, and so it changes dynamics and intent and volume, so we want to recompress, so you'll see that.
Life can't be easily breached. Increase migraines. Be hydroplaning. Daytona Beach. You can't buy game. Become drunk.
And what you'll notice from the second compressor, from the first compressor, is the knee's a bit sharper. It really kind of has the same kind of slope, or the angle of the slope, but even with all of this compressed and then coming back through, I'm having to, GR stands for gain reduction. It's getting pretty close to that 12.
Life can't be easily breached. Increase migraines. Be hydroplaning.
And standard rule of thumb is you want to keep it in between 6 and 12 on your compressor on gain reduction. You don't really want to go any higher than 12. You can go lower than 6, obviously, but so it is compressing it quite a bit, and we're not really gonna go into the difference between the two, but the compressor, like I stress for importance, is really important in basically getting everybody to play nice together, because if you have these sharp values, you lose things. You don't hear things in the beat. The beat kind of trumps over the vocals, and you miss a lot of things, or some things that are in the vocal trump the beat. And it's basically trying to get everybody to work together. Now you'll see a lot of compression EQing generally at the end. Well, you'll do it in your mixing stages, but also in the mastering phase of getting your vocals and beat mastered. You then will come back with other compressors, which are like multi-band compressors that are looking at your lows, your low mids, your mid highs, and your highs. So you have like a 4-band multi-band compression. I kind of like it I kind of don't, because the compressor is looking at the entirety of the track, so it kind of brings everything doing the same thing. It's kind of hard to explain. I like to do a lot of my mastering directly along the way, let's say, so that there's, by the time I get done, if I'm doing down here properly, or, up here or whatever, through my main bus, if I'm gain staging properly, I'm EQing properly, using compression, and then my effects, there really is very little need to bring this into another mastering plugin, just because you've done everything here and you're listening back and you're changing values. So let me hit this. I think this brings me back to where I was. Yeah, okay. So now we'll listen to the vocals, and I'll toggle the whole thing off and on. So I'll shut all the effects off and then turn them all back on and A/B through that. Take a listen. Oh. Go from here.
Yeah. The realization that I've recently reached, at least in my case, life can't be easily breached. Increase migraines, be hydroplaning, Daytona Beach. You can't buy game, become droned out. A spy plane in my way, mofos be sitting sideways. Run over these stunt doubles, demolition zombies, but, hold up. But this job application requires lawless solicitation, regardless of information, in charge of the situation. Your bargaining chips cannot starve a hippie Haitian or disarm a guy with no arms already amputated. You granny hating cause I hit up her medicine cabinet right before I started panty raiding. She wished that it happened backwards, instead we got a complicated relationship. Needed Ouija board and Atlas and a state of commitment.
So you can hear with the, the effects on, it definitely sits better in the mix. The other way, if you just have the natural recording, it ends up just trumping the beat. You're hearing some words louder than others, just a whole bunch of everything wrong. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard another producer's mix or another artist's mix, and they're doing it at home just like I am, but you can just, as you're listening to it, you can tell what they're doing and what they're not doing. And a lot of what they're not doing is compression. A lot of people fail to understand compression. There's plenty of videos online speaking about compression on vocals. Recording Revolution, they have a nice little segment on vocal compression and multi-band compression. Should take a look. I'm not sure how to put links on this shit. So that kind of goes over the effects chain here. Again, a lot of these things, they're everything has a knob, everything has a value. Experiment and toggle, off and on, hear it with, hear it without, solo it. This definitely, with this setup, if you follow all these parameters, don't worry about the red squares here. I'll kind of go over that at the end. But if you're to get everything set up in this manner, this will be a really good start for you. But again, when I'm recording the vocals, I'm only having certain things on at a time. Like I would have, and when I say recording vocals, I'm not sure how other people do it, but if you're not able to hear yourself back with headphones, I just think you're doing it wrong. You should be able to have headphones on, hear the beat, and hear yourself back in the headphones when you're recording. And when we do record, I will have the EQ8 on. I'll have the compressor on. I will shut the delay off, keep the limiter on. The second EQ8 I'm not using. I will shut the chorus off, and I will shut the reverb off. I'll keep the last compressor on, and the gate is off. So that's what it would look like for recording. That's going to give you a very dry sample, no effects, but very clean. It's compressed nicely, EQ'd nicely. And then after I'm done recording, I go through and I turn these guys back on, and they're called, I call them my gold buttons, you know, just because all you got to do is like click a button and you got automatic awesome. So that goes over that. Experiment, have fun with it. The overlay track, nothing too really special about it. You know, it has its own effects. Again, you'll see I'm just doing light compression on that. And then I have this width and slat feature, which is kind of like delay. Kind of bounces the vocal around. I guess we can take a look. So, overlays.
Can't be easily breached. Hydroplaning. They don't can buy again.
Throw down the
Spotlight my way, mofos. He says always stunt those.
So it gives it, well, more width. And on this this overlay track, kind of wanted to go over on yours. We had you set up. It doesn't matter if this one says left and this one says right, but we had one of your channels going to left, one of your channels going to the right, and then we had a centered one. And the reason for this is, if we take a look at this segment right here, let's put this on an off grid. My computer's being a dork. Hold up. We'll be fine. Control loop. So on this, you'll see on this track right here, he's doing his overlays, and on these transients, everything is full left until he gets to right here, and then he's on this channel, he's full left, but on this channel, he comes in and he's on top of what he's saying here, but this one's at full right. So as they play together, one's full left and one's full right, it sounds stereo, so you have it equal in your headphones on both sides, but it throws different dynamics at it because it's overlaid and said, you know, slightly differently or whatever the case. And then on the center track, he's then centered. So you have this, you know, real broad width of what's being said. So now all through this part, everything's stereo because he's overlaying, full right and full left. And then when he gets to this word, he doesn't say it on this part down here. So now it goes full. Ooh, Control Z. Control Z if you've hit something incorrectly, that'll undo. But this one now is on full right. So as you go through, you know, you're hearing full left, stereo, 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 full right. You kind of get how that works. It moves the vocal in the headphone. So if we were to just solo that, let's actually solo these two, and then listen to that. You'll hear it walk through your headphones left and right, or your speakers. All right, take a listen.
Job application requires lawless solicitation. Regardless, job application requires lawless solicitation. Regardless, job application requires lawless solicitation. Regardless, job.
So you can hear it left, center, right. Feel it?
Job application requires lawless solicitation. Regardless, job
Left,
application requires
center,
lawless solicitation.
right.
Job application requires lawless solicitation. Regardless, job.
So yeah, that's why we have the, you know, lefts and rights and the center. Just gives more creativity. I don't know, flair, we'll say, to the mix. And then you'll notice on the main vocal channel, we have this little bit of, funsy stuff where he's just saying different things. And this is, you could have done the same recording here. You could have done that down in your overlay channel, but he also is overlaying with his overlays on top of this stuff. So, and then on these, let's see, I don't think anything is, oh yeah. Let's go here. But you'll see all these red squares, and that indicates that there are parameters in there that I'm automating. And by automation, if we look at the mixer, it's telling me that on Ping Pong 8, I have some sort of value. So now if I look over here, I've used Ping Pong 8 only to echo out what appears to be the first 8 bars. So if we were to listen to the first 8 bars, let's go to 8-bar grid, control loop, and then we were to play it, let's turn this off and listen.
This is my first day. This is my first day. This is my first
Feels like my first day.
I'm that ginger. Ninja. Punch goes my phone.
So you can hear how it really echoes out. And when you hit stop and it echoes out like that, that's actually what's happening in the beat. So I'll keep that in mind. So for that particular section, I'm automating the Ping Pong 8 channel. And if we were to look over at Ping Pong 8 when we play it,
This is my first day. This is my first day. This is my first
Feels like my first day.
I'm that ginger. Ninja.
see how it walks left and right. Now watch, if we were to solo it,
First day.
I'm that ginger. Ninja. Punch goes my phone.
This is my first day. This is my first day.
so, and that's just the effects soloed.
Punch goes my phone.
So, and then on the rest of it, if we were to move this over, if I can get it to move over, if we listen to it, it is not put to the Ping Pong 8, so the word's kind of cut off. I mean, it has its own delay on the master track here. Where am I? Down here. Right here. Simple delay. So it's already got some delay kicking on there, but it's not as aggressive as the Ping Pong 8, which is this bracket here. So if you were to listen again.
Just dropped it in the fucking toilet.
Please do it justice.
No faggot.
See how it's kind of shuts off. So, excuse me. So, it's about what they call automation. If you're, on a parameter, let's say right now we're on Ping Pong 8. So, if you wanted to adjust the value, you can select, where you want to be. You can automate it, like get it really bright. And if we were to listen through here, let's play it from there. And if you watch down here, you'll see this number walk up and down. And then I'll show it to you in session view.
Just dropped it in the fucking toilet.
Please do it justice.
No faggot. Yeah.
The realization that I've recently reached, at least in my case, life can't be easily.
All right, so if we go to the session view on the main vocal channel, you'll see that we now have well, we already did have a red square there, but it's automated in two different ways. But from our start point right now, you're going to watch this thing just walk up and then go to full and then snap back around, I believe.
Yeah. The realization that I've recently reached.
So that's what they call automation, but we don't want that part automated, so get rid of him. So that's what automation is. Real simple way to do it is if you're looking to automate something at a certain segment of the track, all you gotta do is click on it. You'll notice right now it says ping pong 8, but if we were to, let's say, click on the on off button, so now it's saying we're on the limiter device on function. Now you can take this line and turn the thing on at this point or off at this point. So that's another way to automate. A lot of people do automation on their main master channel. I've worked with it too. It's I don't use it as heavily as maybe I should, but it's able to be done anyways. How long are we right now? I don't want to go too far, and 35 minutes, that's not bad. All right, and then off that the vocals group channel, we also had that effects channel. I think we called it for you. I have mine as accents, but basically that channel, all we were really doing was throwing on a ping pong 8. So if we were to, let's say, solo this and then solo this. If we listen, I forget what I have here. Yeah. Oh, it's playing the whole thing. That's dumb. All right. Go like this then. Should be that then, right? Oh, okay, so that was Hunch's phone, and I believe when he was recording, somebody had sent him a message or whatever that tone is for, notification is for. So I basically clipped it out of his vocal sample, and then we just use it as a beat element. But yeah, I mean, originally it just played off once. So if we were to take this line, let's say, put them all the way down, this is how the sample went. And that's it. So, and all we're doing on that is throwing it, slamming it right to a ping pong 8. So you can hear that. And just how it echoes out is exactly how it's going to echo out on the beat. But that's all the effects channel is really for. Sometimes I'll take a vocal that I would like to hear echoed out, and actually, let's try that. So if you have this accents channel, after you've built the accent channel, let's say, you know, maybe you have your parameters adjusted here, you have your ping pong 8 all set, you can left click on the bar here and then go Control D, which will duplicate that track. And then you can get rid of all this stuff. Come on, man. Get rid of all this stuff. And then if you left click hold, you can drag this up. So now you have another ping pong 8 channel that you can add things to. So if we were to look, I think if we go to like a quarter bar, we should be better. If we were to listen to this,
the realization that I've recently reached, at least in my case, life can't be easily breached. Increase migraines, be hydroplaning, Daytona Beach. You can't buy game, become droned out. A spy plane in my way, mofos be sitting sideways. Run over these stunt doubles, demolition zombies, but come droned out. A spy plane in my way.
So if we were to take this, let's say, so we select it, hold control. Actually, in this particular case, we would want to just go like that. And then we can get rid of this, delete. So now if we listen to it.
Beat you can't buy game, become droned out. A spy plane in my way, mofos be sitting side.
So you hear, you know, spy plane or whatever the fuck he's saying. You hear that echoing out.
Beat you can't buy game, become droned out. A spy plane in my way.
So the first problem you have is transient. So we can do the off grid, get a bracket, and then move this to where it needs to be, and then take this guy back because you don't want that breath going. And then we also did notice that the effect was a little bit long on it, so we're gonna go ahead and turn that. Well, no, Control Z. We want it on the whole track, so we're gonna turn this down a little, and then maybe even. Oh, let's hear it back.
I'm droned out. A spy plane in my way, mofos be sitting sideways. I'm droned out. A spy plane in my way, mofos be.
Okay, I was just thinking about something for a minute. Doesn't sound bad.
I'm droned out. A spy plane in my way.
Might be a little loud. I'll drop it down low.
I'm droned out. A spy plane in my way, mofos be sitting.
And you'll notice he also is overlaid here, and you can see it's a little bit off time, which could be resolved by, you know, scoshing over. That's what they call teching, or I call teching, and I really don't like to do that.
A spy plane in my way, mofos be sitting.
So yeah, I guess we'll keep that. It doesn't sound horrible. But you can see what you can do. You can bring different elements down and up, and you know, really get creative with it and have different channels that do different things. Keeping in mind, however, that everything eventually ends up busing to your main vocal grouping. Okay, so let's think. What else? Talked about automation. Talked about how to save the template. What else should you know? Advice on. I don't know, guys. I think that kind of wraps everything up. I might sit back with this and you know, give it a little bit more thought and see if I missed anything. Might have a follow-up video, but I think that really kind of covers everything as to why, when, and where you should put things, and how they work, actually. If you have any questions, you know, comment, shoot me an email, j.lackovic@gmail.com. That's LACKOVIC. Or p7now@hotmail.com. Drop me a line, comment if you have any questions about the video. Like I said, I'll probably go over this and have a follow-up video to it. But I think that kind of really covers everything that we want to cover regarding vocal work, when to turn things on, when to turn them off, when to use them, depending on, you know, what you're looking at for a beat, you know, the feel of it, and you know, just you know, being able to, you have to have really a decent ear for music and be able to pick out what needs to be heard, kind of thing. So let me show you this real quick before I leave. Or before I shut this down, this is a beat I'm working on. Not that you really give a fuck, but I thought it was pretty cool. It's not really going to be named Beat 25. It's just the 25th beat that I have. And I'm not sure why I called it Hood Runners. But this is just some sampling work to make a beat. And take a listen. So yeah, just a little something I'm working on. Alright guys, I'll let you go. Jay Lackovic, aka The Architect. Wrapping up part 2 of how to set up an Ableton template for recording hip-hop. I hope it helps you. It's definitely helped me over the years. It's a standard that I go by, and obviously my main recording template. So again, comment, give a like, give a share, pay attention, because information is key, and I'm giving you gold. All right, have fun, get recording, holla back, take it easy.